All right. So let's start with our session today. Really nice to see you guys and to put the slideshow. Perfect. That's the way I can see you and I can see the PowerPoint. All right. So today, welcome to our very first session on content. Maybe some of you already know some of these information that we are going to be seeing today, but hopefully there's also going to be new information. Please take notes, ask questions, and yeah. So what we're going to be doing today is that we're going to go through the um, undergraduate admission process. You may know some of this information, but we are going to focus this session on specifically the Opportunity Funds students and how we're going to be running the show for you guys. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to be talking about the general calendar for the application process, how we're going to research for options, finances studies, and how all that applies specifically to you as an Opportunity Funds um, grantee. And as you know, this information should be something that you already know what we are, who we are. Part of your interview, we ask you if you knew what Education USA was. Most of you had really good answers. Some of you had some okay answers. But since you're going to be ambassadors for Opportunity Funds and Education USA from now on, you should know that in what we do and what we stand for. From last night's session, also, you saw that we are a U.S. government program and that we are a network. We're all over the place. You saw that there's many advising centers everywhere. And the things that we do is that we offer information and resources for everyone. And we talk with students, we do sessions, and we do all that. And as part of one of our main programs, and what we do is that we have the Opportunity Funds program. Now, the Education USA's model for working with students has to do with 5 steps. As is anybody here familiar with the 5 steps? Um, can you guys? Well, the first one is already on your screen, right? The first step is researching your options. Can anybody? Do you guys know what is the second step? And you guys can open your mic and you can put it on the chat. What is the second step? Anybody knows? No? Okay. So the first step is like researching your options. Second step is financing your study. So figuring out how we're going to pay for school. Step number three is completing your application. Completing application. Step number four is the visa process. The visa process. And step number five is preparing for departure, preparing to go to the US. So those are our 5 steps. Um, that's what we're going to go through today, going through those 5 steps, because you guys are going to walk those 5 steps. Let's start with the first one, researching your options. Um, what is the first thing that we are going to go through? So the first thing is that you need to understand that there's a wide variety of schools. There's a lot of schools in the United States, more than 4,000 universities. And as you should know, that that is the amount of universities that are in the whole European continent. So there's a lot of schools that all the whole European continent has equal universities as just the United States. So it's a lot of universities. So this process, the first step could be really overwhelming. Most of it probably will be really overwhelming. We are going to ask you to narrow it down to 5 universities. So it's going to be a lot of work, but that's what we're going to work with you, right? So the first thing that you need to do is that you need to define your priorities. What are the things that are important to you? And in the next sessions, we are going to be talking about how to choose schools. But this is a key and important part. One of the most um, I would say one of the most important parts of this process is this part of finding universities. The first step for you guys is going to be to um, increase, to expand your options. Many of you, when we interviewed you, you said, I have this university in mind, I have this university in mind, and that's good. We know that you already have institutions in mind, but their first step is going to be to keep enlarging that list of universities. We're going to ask you to find universities that from a variety of different kinds of institutions. And as you know, there's 50 states in the United States. There's many universities that could fit. We do not believe in the perfect university. We believe in um, the perfect universities for you. Right? Now, you should know that there's different kinds of universities in the United States. We have, for example, community colleges. Now, for your program, we're not considering community colleges, but it's something that you should know. You should know that there are community colleges that are institutions that are 2-year institutions that offer degrees that you can use in the United States. There's also English language programs that are not part of our program either, but there's different, those are some sort of institutions that you are going to be aware of. Now, in terms of universities, you are going to find private institutions and public institutions. What is the main difference with these institutions? Here in Mexico, what we understand for private and public is that public institutions are going to be a lot cheaper than private institutions. They're run by the government here in Mexico, and they receive their funds from the U.S. from the government. And private institutions are privately owned, as we know. But there's a big difference in how much money you pay for those schools. So, for example, if you're thinking your private institutions here in Mexico, como la UDLA, el Tec de Monterrey, or those schools, compared to la Universidad de Guadalajara, or la UNAM, or la Universidad de Nuevo León, the prices are going to be really different. In the United States, prices are going to be different, but not that much. I mean, public schools are not cheap. Private schools are even more expensive than public schools, but both schools are expensive. The main difference is that where the money comes from, some of the money comes from, but the student still pays a lot of it. And there's also universities there's different kinds of universities. The universities that have only undergraduate level universities and big universities. For example, I visited a university in Nashville it's called Lipscomb University, which is a small university compared to the rest of universities in the U.S. Is a 3,000 student university, small Christian liberal arts college in Nashville. But also in the same city, you could have University of Tennessee, for example, with 40,000, 50,000 students. Right? You can have schools like the one that I went to, which is a big university, 30,000 students, but in a small town in the middle of rural Southeast Ohio. Or you could have big universities in downtown Manhattan or small universities in the same city. So there's a big range of different schools. And your job is going to be to get to know many different schools so you can find what universities are what you're looking for. Now, how are you going to find these schools? Well, there's many ways that you can find these schools. We have some tips for you, but we encourage you to use online searchers. And I'm going to show you a little bit on that. I don't want to spend way too much time on that, but there's different ways that you can find schools. These are some of those. So let me show you. If you guys are not familiar with College Board, this is going to be one of your best friends during this process. Are you still looking at my screen and on College Board? Yeah? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Angelica. I can see you guys nodding along, so thank you. So that's what I'm telling you. I'm looking at you all the time to receive feedback from the presentation. So here you would go to College Board. There's one part where it says Big Future, and you can do career search, college search, scholarship search. There's many websites like this, but this is one of the most popular. So we would go to college search. This is where you can start, right? There's many other ways that you can start, but this is one of the most known. And there's different filters that you can use to find these institutions, right? So let's see that you would like to do, I don't know, let's do type. We're looking at four-year colleges, type of institution. We don't care if it's public, if it's private. Um, Special mission, are we interested in institutions that are historically Black institutions, Hispanic service institutions, all women, all men? If we don't have a strong choice, then we are not going to put anything over there. Distance learning, double majoring, English as a second language honors program, religious affiliation. Okay, those are not, in my search, those are not going to be important. So those are not my priorities. What else? What else could I be looking at? So I could be looking at types of degrees, majors. Let's see that I'm really interested in majors. Um, let's see. Let's go for, I know some of you are guys are looking into programs with chemistry, material science, chemistry in general. Let's look at, let's do for both. We should be able to choose this area of study to include all related. Oh, okay. So all related majors with chemistry, let's choose this one. Then we add, and we could add more. Let's say that we also want to do something with biomedicine, biomedical information. If we want all things related to biology and bioinformatics, let's choose this one. So that's let us show you. Let's see what comes out. All right. So it has given us quite a few schools still, 1,473 colleges. We can narrow it down, still narrow it down a lot more, but I just want to show you what information you're going to find on each one of those. So let's say that we want to look at the como la ficha of Oakland University in Rochester, Michigan. All right, so it will show you a picture of it. It will show you information. It's a four-year public institution. It says that after the average package for year is $14,000 dollars a year. What is the average? No, hold on, that's the code. That's not the average. All right, that's an overview, but you can look at into admissions. This is the SAT range that they receive. There's 90% of acceptance. This is a school that pretty much accepts everyone that applies to this university. The GPA at the school, these are the information. So this is going to give you data, right? This school is going to give you data to give you information on that. The academics, right? Costs. Cost average per year after aid. And this is the average aid package. So this is the price that a student will pay at this school, but they are only considering tuition. And we'll talk about that later, but this is something that you should be looking at. Anyways, so that's what this tool does. It's going to give you like a from universities. And this is, for example, this is where you guys are going to get to know a lot of universities. For example, Marshall University is the rival school for where I went to. Ohio University and Marshall University, they hate each other, right? Actually, I'm getting upset just by seeing the name here. No, I'm kidding. But Marshall University is a really good school. As in Huntington, West Virginia, as a big school, we kick their butt all the time in football, but it's a really good school that you can see. But for example, probably if not by this search engine, and if not by the reference that I'm making to it that I'm doing for you, you probably have never heard of Marshall University, right? Now, one of the things and one of the priorities for you, if not the biggest priority for you, is going to be funding. So here, you are going to find, for example, affordability. So we're looking at institutions that can give you good amount of money. So let's say that we want universities that will give you 100% of financial. Now, if you see, now we remember how many schools we had before? There were 1,400 schools. Now, with the financial need that we have reduced that to 61 colleges. So you can see that we are up to a big challenge. Not a lot of universities will have the need that will be able to provide you with the money that you need for your studies. So this part is going to be a really important part on you. Now, there's schools you are going to find if you Google schools that give you Fulbright scholarships, you're going to find big names. Right? You're going to find big names like Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Princeton. All those schools, yes, they have a lot of money to give for students, right? But those are super, super difficult schools to get into, right? And you should have those schools in mind. We have had opportunity funds undergraduate that have gotten into Harvard, that have gotten into Princeton, but we also have had students from our programs that have gotten into um, University of Mississippi, for example, University of Indiana, with full paid programs and scholarships. But we'll talk about a little bit more of that. But the power for this is going to be our strategy. What is the strategy that we're going to have to go about on this? All right, let me go back to the PowerPoint and no share. I don't know why I'm putting share. Sorry about that. It's slideshow. All right, so one of the tools is College Board. The other one is also here, Study in the States. There's a petersons.com also that you can use. There's quite a few search engines. Now, your job is going to be defining your priorities, finding these schools, highlighting information according to your interest, compare schools that interest you. So that's going to be a big part of this. Search for more schools. When you're tired of searching, search for more and search for more. Now, one thing that you should know is that in this part of looking for a university, there's an exercise that we're going to be also be doing that has to do with before you know the university that you want to apply to, you have to do a really deep process of getting to know yourself. And this is what I mean by this. Universities in the US have sometimes a special something that they feel proud of, or something that they are really all about. For example, I told you about Lipscomb University. Lipscomb University, like I said, is a small university, liberal arts in Nashville, but they proud themselves on saying that each year they volunteer 20 million hours of service into the community. And they say our students do a lot of service in the community, our professors do a lot of service in the community, our staff does a lot of service in the community. So if you, as a student, you could care less about service in the community, Lipscomb University is going to be a really bad place for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they have a program that I really like. They have this and they have that, but I don't care about that. It's just not me, right? For example, Brown University is a school that prouds itself on their students' independent building their curriculum. Like they don't really build you a curriculum. You do a lot of the, I want a little bit of this, I want a little bit of that, I want to finish with a major. Right? So it's a lot, there's a lot of independence. If you are a student that enjoys more of a structured guidance, then Brown University is not going to be a place for you. Johns Hopkins University, yes, they offer 100%. They will meet my need, yes, but they do, there's a lot of emphasis from them on interdisciplinary work. Like if you're a student that is you're majoring in psychology, for sure you're going to be working with students not only from the psychology department. You're going to be working on a project with a chemical engineering student, with the education student, and with the architecture student, and the four of you are going to put together a project for a class. So they value that, right? So you have to look into what is the spirit, what is the thing that that university values, and you are going to be looking into that. But there's no way of knowing that if you have not done the work of saying, what do I want? How do I learn the best? Do I learn the best on a small classroom? Do I learn the best in a big classroom? Do I prefer the small town? Do I like to be familiar in a place that is familiar? Do I like to be in a place that it's everything is new for me, right? What is my the way that I socialize with people? Do I like environments that are really challenging and then looking and pushing me into being more entrepreneurial, right? So I don't care about entrepreneurial. So what is the things we talk about the match, but to do a match with a school, I need to know myself and I need to get to know the university. And I have to know if there is a match between us. And there's going to be many different matches. Don't worry. There's no just one match. There's many different matches, right? But you have to know yourself in order to be able to do that match. And that is going to take weeks and weeks of you learning and searching and finding universities. And it's going to be challenging because you're going to find a lot of universities, but very few universities will say, we will meet 100% of what you need. Or will they say, we have scholarships that will cover all of that you need. Remember, that is what you are looking for. So have that in mind. Now, second step, and that is really related to this, is financing your studies. Universities have money for you. They have money, right? We've talked about students that have gone to the United States, all paid expenses, and we'll talk about that a little bit more on the next session. But there's all universities have money that will give in different ways. So costs are going to be different from one school to another school. Let's begin with the application process. And this is what opportunity funds will cover for you. You don't have to worry about these, but we just need to understand that there is a lot of money that is going to be invested in you. So, but this is a process uh, that is not cheap, right? So the application fees, depending on the school, opportunity funds will pay for 5 application fees. Yeah, so getting documents translated, sending documents to the United States, or um, doing credential evaluations, doing your TOEFL exam. Actually, this needs to update it because the TOEFL exam now is $200. If we need to submit extra scores, the SAT exam, and preparation courses, which we're going to be paying for you. So all of that starts adding and starts adding and starts adding. So some of those things that sometimes we don't consider when studying in the United States. Now let's look at some prizes. You need to understand that, remember, to study in the United States, you should not only consider the colegiatura, which is known as, tuition. So studying in the United States, don't only look at tuition. You need to look at all the expenses, what we call the full cost of attendance. That's what you should be looking at, full cost of attendance. So full cost of attendance means that they are including, or the price you need to understand that there's not only tuition, but there's housing, and housing depends on the city. Is it a small town? Is it a big city? It's not the same to study in Denver, Colorado, or to study in San Francisco, or to study in New York, or to study in Kansas City. So all these different cities are going to be different. So that's why you can see housing is really different. Housing in Harvard, it could be $17,000, but in Tempe, Arizona, it could be $1,300, or in San Antonio to be $8,000. Right, so it depends, and this is because of the city. Now, the city is also going to be make other things more expensive. Right, so because salaries need to be higher because people spend more, so they need to charge more to students and all that. So you can see differences between a private university like Harvard or a public university like University of Arizona or a community college like in San Antonio Community College, right? Those prices are in dollars and an estimated the annual expenses. So this year we have had students that have received scholarships like this. Scholarships like $50,000, $40,000, $80,000, which cover the full cost of attendance for the students. Now, when we talk about funding, you should understand that for undergraduate and for Mexican students, there are only two sources of money to study in the US. The first one is the university. So we're trying to get as much as we can, as much money as we can from the university, right? And scholarships and financial aid and the way what we can. And the other source is personal funds, meaning your family's contribution to your education. Now, we're not expecting that your family is going to be contributed a lot because, well, first of all, we ask you thoroughly for financial information. When you filled out the information, you spend a lot of time probably asking to your parents for a lot of that information. And if you're an opportunity fund student, is because you cannot. It would be you cannot pay for school these prices in the U.S. and it will be really difficult for you also to pay for these expenses, right? So uh, we are thinking that you need uh, money fully covered by the university. So that is what we're looking at now. And that is going to be one, if not your biggest priority when looking for a university. Now, in the application process, there's many things that we're going to be doing. Um, so there's going to be an online application that you're going to do. We have to pay application fees, transcripts, standardized tests, letters of recommendation, essays, and sometimes you need a portfolio, but it depends if what kind of major you're doing. Now let's begin with the application. We will have sessions on the Common App, for example. We will have sessions on how you are going to be doing the Common App. Is anybody familiar here with the Common App? Have you guys have heard it? At least you have heard it before? Yeah, you have heard? Yeah, some of you have heard the Common App before. Yes. So the Common App is going to be a platform where in the past, way before, and I'm going to sound like an old person with this, in the past, we used to do one application per school, right? And if you were doing 5 schools, you will have to do 5 different applications per school, or one per school. Now there's one centralized place where you can do just one application and then send it to different universities. Um, right now, the Common App is open for students that will start on 2024. All right, so I would not suggest that you open a Common App um, account right now. Oh, you can if you want, just to play around. But as soon as August 1st, all that information that you put in is going to be deleted and is going to be restarted, right? So yes, okay, if you want, you can start doing a Common App just to play around with it and look around and all that. But everything will be deleted after on August 1st. But yeah, that's where you are going to be doing your application. That's where you're going to be uploading your transcripts. That's where you're going to be uploading your essays and doing all that, right? Through the Common App. Some universities still have their own application process. So for some of those, you might have to do a different application process, but most of them are going to be in the Common App. Now, um, the application fees, we are going to pay for 5 application fees. But many times you can request for application fee waivers, which means that universities will say, it's okay, don't pay for that. We know that you are many times because um, you're going to request it, but many times it's because they know that you're an opportunity funds grantee, and they say, let's help you with some of that. Many times, if you attend an information session from a university, they will say, we're not going to charge you if you want to apply for our school. So use those. Uh, in on average, an American student applies to 8 to 10 universities. Now, we are paying for 5, but we're expecting that you will do a little bit more. So you will find application fee waivers so you can apply to more schools and you can amplify your opportunities to be selected, right? So we're hoping that you will do a lot of that advocating. We can do it. We will do it for you, but you can advocate for yourself. We will give you a letter where it says, I'm an opportunity fund student. I'm highly qualified and all this. So I'm requesting that if you could give me an application fee waiver. So, and many times they're going to waive that for you. All right. Another important part in the application, then the application process is going to be your exams. You guys are going to be taking the TOEFL exam, right? That we are already in the process of requesting the funds for that. No, not the funds. To purchase the exams for you. You will be taking that in. If you've seen the calendar, you know that you will be taking those in the months of September and October. So yeah, we don't know yet. Probably we will have some Duolingo English tests, but we don't know yet. But if we do, we'll let you know, and you will be taking then 2 exams. You will also be taking the SAT. The SAT is you will be taking soon. You will start to receive the applicate the test prep materials for that. So be ready. They've made it they've made it a shorter exam, less questions. There's a different format now to it, but yeah, that's another exam. Are you guys familiar with the SAT? You have heard of it before? All right, okay. Yeah, it's an exam that is going to test you um, on different abilities. I know that Jacqueline, you've already taken the exam, right? And I don't know if anybody else have taken the exam yet, but yeah, so that's one of the important exams. All right. And that's for the standardized test. With transcripts, you will have a session on this. Actually, Jorge is going to give you a session on this, but you can start getting ready for that. We are going to be needing your documents up from third year of secundaria, and then what you have so far in high school, right? If you're in tercer semestre, cuarto semestre, what you have, you are going to be asking for historial académico, and that's the one we're going to be sending for to translate. But more information in the future. This is just an overview. Letters of recommendation, we will have a session on letter of recommendation, don't worry. So just remember, this is just an overview. I just want to let you know that what you should be getting ready for, right? Letters of recommendations, essays, we're going to have a couple, like we said, couple of workshops and courses on how to write essays. And these are also one of the most challenging parts of this process because this is what we want to read you. Universities want to read from you what makes you unique, why we should accept you. And most of you have done really good essays when you apply for this program. But we've also had conversations where we say, well, this essay was not the best. There's lack of focus. There's this, and that. but there's something that we can work with, right? So you've done a good job because you're here, but at the same time, we know that there's many things that you could improve, and that's why we're going to focus a lot on the essays, especially because a lot of these schools that are going to give you full scholarships are going to they're going to determine a lot of the acceptances or scholarships based on all of these packages, but especially on the essays. All right, let me show you the calendar. We already seen the calendar, but in a like a flow chart right here, you can see that right now that we're ending the spring, beginning the summer. Your job is going to be searching for schools. This is what you're going to be doing this week, searching for schools. And like I said, you're going to search more and then search more and then search more. And when you're tired of searching, do some more searching. During the summer, we're going to be preparing for tests. You're going to be doing your test prep and then answering questions and going through the program. And you also are going to be doing and writing your first drafts for your essays. Then in the fall, September, October, you're going to be getting ready for your application. This is where you're going to be doing your exams, doing your final essays, essay drafts, interviewing with universities, and doing all that work during this time. During the winter, specifically, the a little bit more like end of fall maybe, and um, uh, uh, November 1st is going to be your first deadline for the first round of universities. That's early decision day. So your application is going to be ready for November 1st. And there's other schools that you can have ready after that, but we're looking into our date is November 1st. So it seems far away, but it's really not. You will see that it's going to come here. It's going to get here earlier than you think. And then for spring next year, meaning February, March, April next year, is when you're going to be receiving your admission letters. We hope that you will receive a lot of acceptances. There's also rejections. Expect those too. You will receive rejections. And we're going to be ready for those, and it's part of the process too. But we're hoping that you will get more acceptances, and that at least one or two acceptances will be acceptances that are going to be full offers for you. And then for the summer, we're going to prepare you for your departure. That's when you do your visa process, and that's when you do all that, so you can start your program in the fall next year, 2025, and you'll be traveling 2025. All right. Now, what do we expect from you then? And during this, now that in this next steps. Now, please feel free to reach out to your advisor. As you know, you have been assigned to an advisor. Some of you already know who you're working with. Have you guys, anybody have received an email from your advisor? Some of you? No? Nobody? All right. So I know that uh, Mabel already told you, some of you guys who's working with her, and then the rest should be sending emails pretty soon. Um, but yeah, you should know that pretty soon. I just let them know today, but and many of our advisors are actually um, because of the day, Dia del Maestro, many of our advisors are actually teachers, so many of them are not working today. But yeah, so they will be reaching out soon, as Mariana says. Also, there is a Google Classroom for you, as you know. Have everybody joined? Have you guys have any trouble? I know someone said that had trouble. Carlos, did you figure it out? You haven't sent me the email yet, right?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, okay, good. So just send me an email as soon as you can. We're expecting also that you would attend the sessions. You should have received already a newsletter. Did you receive the newsletter from us with information um with the next webinars? Did you receive that? Anybody?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys received that had that the dates and like for the next webinars. Okay, that's good. Because Mariana was asking me that. All right. Sada, you have a question or a comment?
Yes.
Mhm.
I've already explained my situation, but yesterday I wasn't able to join
Yeah.
the session. So sorry about that, but could you please share the code for the Google Classroom with me
Oh,
because
yeah. Okay. Yeah,
joined.
I'll do that. Yeah. Now, I think that what I can also do, I see where it is here. And what I can think of, Carlos, also for your situation is that you can um, just log in with a different.
Yes, I'm actually uh, in second in the
Oh, okay.
people, and that's what I was going to tell you.
All right, good.
I joined with a different one.
Cool, cool, cool. Now let me put this in the. There it is, Sarah. We
Thank
can
you
go
very
with
much. Thank you.
that. And Jacqueline, I know that you are in another classroom also, but now we're going to move to this one. So if you could join on this one too, because
Yes,
then it's
yeah,
only
yeah, yeah, I'll do it. Thank you.
okay. All right. All right. So there is 11 of us in the undergraduate. And I should tell you that this is the year that we have had the most undergraduate students. In previous years, we've only had five or uh, three undergraduates. This year, you guys have impressed us a lot. This was a year, many of you, we were discussing this actually in our meetings with the advisors, is that um, you guys have shown us that you have clear objectives, clear things that you want to do in the United States. Some of you at the, if you were graduate students, some of the things that you plan and you expressed in your interviews and in your essays um, was equally impressive as someone that is doing or thinking similar things at a graduate level. So it's a challenge because let's to be honest, it's a lot harder to get funding for undergraduates than for graduates. But in our part, we're going to do our best to advise you. We have a lot of experience now in our with undergraduate students and doing placement that we're going to do our best. And from your part, we're going to ask that you will do also your best so we can have um, the results that we are expecting from this cohort, from you guys. Um, all right. Yes, like Mariana says, we're rooting for you guys. All right. And I think, well, we're going to be talking about these things tomorrow too, but I can go, I mean, not tomorrow, but uh, uh, like I said, you guys have had a really impressive. You are doing things, but there's things that you can still be doing to prepare and to do more. We'll go through some of those things in the sessions for essays and the next session for how to do the search for schools and all that. But and you've done pretty much all this that we're talking about this. Look for ways that you can improve things, clear your objectives, and yeah. So I want to open it for questions because we are going to end it a little bit earlier. By the way, you'll get to know my dogs. They are in all of the sessions. If you, they're going to be in all of the sessions as you can hear them. But yeah, there's questions. Yes, Carlos and then Subin.
Well, I have a question. When you were talking about the tuition fees and all of that, you said something about the housing, and so I have a question. Are we going to pay for that, or we're going to try to like to get a scholarship from the universities too?
Right. So the kind of scholarship that we're looking for that you will have is that something that covers everything. Right? Is not only something, is not just what, not something that covers tuition, but schools are going to provide also for housing. Schools are going to provide for everything. That's the package that we have seen. So so yeah, that's what we're looking at. Yeah. Suin,
And a couple of questions. First, about the SAT, how does the test work? Like, is it multiple questions or are the questions open-ended? Since I'm not sure on that end of the SAT questions. And for a second
Well,
question,
yeah.
for
Go
a
ahead.
second question afterwards, how do you request a full scholarship from a university?
How do you what?
Request a full scholarship from a university.
How do you request?
Yes, the full scholarship, because in
Mhm.
application you have to request that, I assume, right?
Okay, so for the first question, the SAT, yes, it is a multiple test, a multiple answer test. It's just like filling out, as you might be familiar with those kinds of tests, and you will have a session on that. So don't worry, you will have a session on that. And the Magoosh program is going to give you a lot of practice on that. And for the second question, how do you request? It's not really that you request it. The application would tell you if you want to be considered for application for financial aid. Of course, always check yes, but many times what you are going to be doing is that, for example, in the Indiana University, they have a specific scholarship that you need to apply for separately if you want to be considered for the full ride scholarship. And for them, it's called that STAMP Scholars, and you do a different application for that. Right? And for other schools, you don't do anything different. Well, you just do the regular way. You just check the box that says I want to be considered for full ride scholarships, and it depends on how much they are impressed with with your um, your profile, with the things that you tell, with your essay, and the match that they are looking with you, finding in you. Then they will say, we really want Suven to come to our university. How are we going to call his attention to come to us? With money, right? Offering money. And the more money we offer is that we want. Now, let me tell you something. In this process, there's many things that are not going to be in your hands. There's many things that are not going to be, that don't depend on you. For example, there is one thing that you need to understand is that universities have um, institutional priorities. What does that mean? For example, maybe that year, the University of Michigan that you really, really, really wanted to get into their biomedical program, that year they said, okay, let's look at the pool. But remember, maybe the committee is talking right now, but remember that we have a surplus of women in our program. So this year, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that this year, have in mind that we have more women than men in our program. Or maybe it could be the other way. We have more men than women. So this year, let's focus a little bit more in qualified men or women, depending on what they have, right? Maybe they could say in their program, they could say, we have this new program for data science. We have this new program. So all of the people that come for computer science, let's open also the opportunity if they want to get into the new data science, and then offer scholarships for the new program, right? And let's do that. So maybe that year, the new program is going to have more funding because they want to call more people to that, right? And maybe that is going to make that it's going to take funding away from the program that you were going to apply and say, oh, we have Camila or Owen or Sarah. There's a really, really good profiles, but we don't have money for them because we're moving money for this other new program that we have. Or that year they're going to say we need more Mexican students or more Latin American students because we have a lot of Indian students, a lot of Chinese students, so that year for you is going to work better on that. But there's no way that you know those things, right? You cannot know those things. In the case, for example, for Jacqueline, maybe that year there's a school that says we already have a middle fielder. Necesitamos una delantera, una esto, una otro, but there's sometimes you don't know that, right? So it depends on, well, your best strategy is that's why I'm telling you, your best strategy is to have a really wide variety of schools, right? That's your key. That's the thing. A wide variety of schools. If I only have my 5 schools is going to be Yale, Stanford, Princeton, and then whatever Columbia and the other ones, I can tell you for sure that plan is not going to work, right? That plan is not going to work. For example, Tammy is one of our she's in Princeton. She ended up doing, I think it's like close to 20 universities. She received acceptances in many of them, not all of them with full funding. She received answers from 2, Princeton University and University of Mississippi. But she was bateada from Columbia, from Yale, from Harvard, from all the different schools. Princeton, that year, the year that she applied, Princeton was the university, Princeton was the #1 university that year in rankings. Now, with Jorge, we worked with her, and it didn't make any sense in our minds that the #1 school in the world accepted her with a fully funded offer, and 18 other schools either rejected her or didn't offer any money for her. You know, for us, it just doesn't make any sense. If the top university in the world is accepting you, you should have other 20 acceptances equally, right? That makes sense? Because you're a good, it means that you're a good enough student. You have what it takes. Now, this is what I'm telling you. There's many things in this process that are not in your hands. They're not in your hands. Sometimes a good profile is what is going to kick you out of a scholarship. Now, we're going to be talking about a little bit more on that. And I just want to say, Jorge and Mariana, are you guys able to stay a little bit more for questions?
I am able to do that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I have like 10 more minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I need to leave because I need to do the Paso Cero session in about 5 minutes. But please, yeah, so Mariana and Jorge, both experts in this, so please continue your questions with them. But yeah, all right. I'm so sorry that I have to leave. I will not do it again. I scheduled another session right after this. But Angelica, tell us your questions so we can move, and Mariana and Jorge are going to continue with the questions.
Thank you. My question is that some of the schools that I want to apply to allow super scoring on the SAT, and they're very competitive schools. So for me to super score would be a very good idea. And I don't know if I wanted to take a second exam on the SAT based on the results I got in the previous one. Would I have to fund that myself?
So you're asking, Angelica, if you can take us, because you already took the SAT, right?
No, I haven't, but some
You
schools allow me
Oh.
to super score, which means
Yes.
that I can take I assume you know what super scoring means.
Mhm. Right. So opportunity will cover one exam, and then if you need to take another exam to, like to get a better score, you will have to cover that cost. Is that correct, Jorge? Yes, right? Because I had to do that for the GRE, for example, not for the GRE, for the TOEFL when I was an opportunity funds grantee. So my first exam was not terrible, but I got like 90 points, and I was like, this sucks, and I knew that my English level was okay. So I was like, probably I was nervous, so I had to take another exam, another TOEFL test, but I had to cover the cost for it out of my pocket. Do you have any other question?
No, thank you.
More questions, guys? It's now or never. No, I'm kidding. You can always reach out.
There's one in the chat.
it says, Camila, thank you. Is there a problem if I get enrolled in an ESL program in a community college this year? That's a really good question that I don't have the answer for. So I will pass it on to Jorge because he's more experienced than I am.
Okay, yeah, hello guys, nice to meet you all. My internet is kind of breaking down, so I'm gonna turn off my camera for you to hear me than see me. Okay, can you hear me now? Yes, okay. Regarding your question, Camila, yes, that is something that we may have to discuss with Juan Manuel. Because okay, you're gonna be like for the whole year at the college.
I'm not quite sure yet, but I think it's the plan to be the whole year.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Jorge. So Camila said
Okay.
that she's
Camila,
planning.
sorry, I didn't couldn't hear you. Hear your answer.
Can you say it again, Camila?
It's the plan to be the whole year, but I can do whatever you want. I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, it is not whatever we want. It is what the process and the scholarship requires from you. Okay. And yes, I mean, as long as you can like fulfill all the requirements and the steps we have prepared, that can be kind of.
Sorry, Jorge, for interrupting you, but I think your internet connection is a bit funky, so we are not.
Yeah, it actually sucks.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah. So you were saying that it's not what we really want, but what the scholarship requires, right? Or you can type it in the chat. Yeah, so we can move on to the next question. How about that? Is that okay? Okay, we will wait for Jorge.
Yeah, exactly. It's what the. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry
It's
about
okay.
this.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. That's okay. You can type the answer in the chat, or Camila can reach out later on this week, and we can talk with her too. So that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. So next question is Valentina. Is there something that I should do if I can't find 10 universities with my degree? My question for you, Valentina, is do you really believe that you won't be able to find a program among the 4,700 universities that exist in the US? I think you will be able. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you want to study something related to engineering related to materials, right? And if you can unmute yourself. Or no. But I am positive that you will find a program that will fit your needs and that you will find interesting. So I won't believe.
Yeah.
You will find 10 options for sure.
Yeah, and for some reason, sometimes you have to be flexible about maybe the name of the program, because you couldn't, I mean, perhaps you won't find the program you're looking for with the exact name that you have thought about. So that's why we are going to help you to do that, okay? So don't worry, as Mariana said, there are a bunch of universities in the States, so you will find more than 10 universities with your program.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Jorge. Are you going to provide us with a preparation course for the TOEFL? The short answer is, of course, yes. The long answer is it's gonna be Magoosh, right, Jorge? Again?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're gonna have a session regarding the TOEFL. But that session will be only covering like the updates, the way of registration, and all that. But besides that, yes, Magoosh will be the platform that we will be using for prepare you for the test. Okay.
Yes. So if you want to start exploring the platform, you can do that. Magoosh also has apps that you can download to your phone, so you can start practicing. So Magoosh has also free resources if you're preparing for any test. But yes, you will have that course. And then I'm not sure if Carlos or Owen who raised their hand first, excuse me. But I will go with Carlos. Carlos, go ahead.
Well, actually, we have the same question. Because we won the Education USA Academy scholarship. So so we were checking the calendar, and there's some webinar sessions in the time that we are on in the universities. So we were talking about it, and we're like, we don't know what to do. So
That's a happy problem for sure. Again, I don't have the answer for that question. I will pass it on to Jorge. But if we both don't have the answer, Juanma can guide us to answer that.
Yeah, first of all, Owen and Carlos, congratulations on that, because we are so proud of you guys too. And yeah, I mean, you will have double work. Why? Because you will be at the academy scholarship in these universities, but the webinars will be recorded, okay? So you can check the recordings. And I mean, remember, the scholarship is only, I think it is only it is 4 weeks or something like that, right? Yeah, okay. So it is not like a long time. I mean, you are not going for a whole year, right? So it is, I mean, you have to catch up, okay? So yeah, but the short answer might be, yeah, yeah, you will have to double the homework.
Yes, exactly. You have to be organized and fulfill all the requirements for both programs. Yes. So
I just
yes.
sorry, and what happens if we can't connect to 1 or 2 sessions?
As
Is there
Jorge,
a problem?
like Jorge mentioned, the sessions will be recorded, so you will be able to watch them later on. So
Yeah, and remember to communicate that to your advisor, okay? So we have, I mean, I am not sure who your advisors are, like your personal advisor for the whole process with the scholarship. But always keep them in the loop. I mean, we already know that you guys are going to this scholarship, to the academy scholarship. But for example, I am in charge of running the webinars, but I mean, I might be lost in the track, like following you guys. So yeah, so just keep informed and communicate that with your advisor, and he or she will let us know. Okay.
yes, and I just checked in. Ana Lucia will be the advisor for Owen, and Juanma actually will be your advisor, Carlos.
Yeah, just keep them in the loop. Okay.
Sara, shoot it.
Okay, well, I have already received the email for the webinars, forward on, and I noticed that I already know that we are supposed to be doing the TOEFL test, and I know that there's a webinar in the future for the TOEFL. I just want to say that I have already done the TOEFL, and I think the TOEFL has like is valid for like 2 years, and I did it on October 23rd, so I'm guessing that by the time that I have to provide my application, it will still be valid. But I know that there are webinars and we're supposed to be doing it. Do I need to repeat it, the TOEFL, or is it good?
Okay, so you took the TOEFL IBT or ITP?
IBT, the
Okay.
computer.
Okay, my suggestion with this, I mean, for some reason, yes, you have to be prepared just in case your score won't be the needed. I mean, perhaps you will need to improve your score. And for that, although you took the test already, my suggestion and as part of the team organizing the webinars, yeah, we strongly suggest that you attend to the session, okay? Because you never know if you have to retake the test. Okay, so remember that's although your score might be good and valid, so you never know. You never know if one specific university might ask for a higher score for better points and all that. So yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so does anybody else have a question? Just regarding some materials that you can take advantage of. Remember that if you are in a city and if that city it is an advising center, so you can also visit the advising centers and take advantage of the materials that we have there, because we also have like student guides and all that. And in some centers there are some other activities, perhaps not directly related with the cohort, but at the same time you can take advantage of these events. Okay. And
Yeah,
Valentina.
great recommendation. Yeah.
I haven't received the links for the webinars.
Okay, maybe you can, I don't know if you checked on the spam tab, but there is, if you haven't received that email, that newsletter, you can let me know. I'm writing my email here on the chat box, and then you can email me and tell me, you know what, Jorge, I haven't received the newsletter. Yeah.
Any more questions?
I think,
Before we go.
yeah, I think the schedule for the webinars will be also added into the Google Classroom, just for your consideration. And remember that we want you to be proactive. We already know that you are quite busy people, but at the same time, you have to be responsible for be aware of the events and webinars and sessions we are preparing for you. And remember, you don't have to attend to all the webinars, because there will be some webinars that are only for the graduate students. So for example, that specific, there's a specific webinar about the GRE test. So you don't have to attend that one, because you won't be taking any GRE test, okay? So you have to select the webinars that are specifically for you, okay, for like the undergraduate level, okay?
Any more questions before we go? Or comments? No? Yes? Okay, so super quick, super quick. I will start with Suben. Just with one word, how do you feel today after this session? Go. And then Suben will pass it on to another student.
Okay. Starting again. I know a bit more about the program itself. A bit relieved, but also, it's gonna be a challenge to get into university. You know, so it's here. It's not gonna be an easy task to get into one.
Thank you. That's perfect. But just one word. Remember, just one word. Okay, Suben, who are you picking?
I pass it to Owen.
Owen.
Just say randomly.
I'll say nervous. And I pass it to Carlos.
Well, I said maybe excited. And I pass it to Ramses.
Well, I would say motivated, maybe. And I pass it to Camila.
Thank you. I think I'm intrigued. I don't know. And I pass it to Sarah.
Well, I think I'm feeling thrilled for the ride that's coming. And I pass it to Angelica.
I feel excited, and I pass it to Violeta.
My word is to Jacqueline.
We couldn't hear you. Did you say what? What was your word?
I was feeling sorry. Encouraged.
Encouraged. Perfect. And you will pass it on to?
Jacqueline.
Perfect.
I'll say confident, and I'll pass it to Valentina.
I feel positively terrified. Emphasis on the positive.
And you will pass it on to Jorge or myself?
Jorge.
I feel really excited and at the same time really hot because here in Merida is so hot. And I'll pass it to Mariana. I don't know if we're missing some of you guys.
I don't
know.
think so. I think everyone just passed, right? So my word is busy, crazy busy, but I'm happy also. So thanks again for joining this session. Feel free to reach out to your advisor, your personal advisor, or any advisor if you live in Merida, you live in Guadalajara, in any city that has an advising center. And I think that's it, right, Jorge?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we wish you a very rest of your day. So relax. Don't be aware of the time that you have to be. Okay. So you don't try to be in an advance. Okay. So just enjoy the ride. Okay.
Exactly. See you
Okay.
guys.
So with this, I think we are dismissed. Thank you very much for attending, and we'll see you in the upcoming webinars. Okay.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.